So in my last video, I talked about why someone who is retired and over 65 should learn about artificial intelligence. But this video, I want to be a little more practical because understanding why to use AI is one thing, but understanding where to start is a whole different thing. Now, I've talked about it before. My career has been in a very structured environment. So when it came to learning about AI, it was kind of unfamiliar. I mean, there's no procedures, no checklist, and really not even a clear starting point. But once I began using I realized a couple of things. AI is not a replacement for thinking. It's not a shortcut for experience. It's a tool to help you think better, work more clearly, and solve problems faster. So today, what I want to do is walk through my experiences so far with AI. I want to talk about some terms like what is an AI tool, how do they work, what can they be used for, how I'm working through choosing which tools I used, and actually give some examples of the actual tools I've used. So, if you're retired or nearing retirement and you're curious but cautious about learning AI, this video may be for you. So let's dive in. So when people talk about AI, they often refer to the term AI tools. Now, it's a term that's can become a little overwhelming. I mean, if you look at some sources, they estimate that there's nearly 50,000 AI tools that already exist. Now, that's definitely a number that doesn't help you when you're trying to get started using AI. So let's slow down and define these terms. When I say an AI tool, it's a piece of software that helps you think, create, analyze, solve problems by working with you, not just responding to a single command. And when we talk about AI tools, the most common one to talk about is an AI chat box. So it works by you having a conversation with it. I mean, you ask it a question, it provides an answer. You provide a follow-up, and it responds. And together you work to improve the result that you're looking for. Now, this is a key difference from Google itself. Google is a search engine, which you ask it a question, it gives you some links, and then you are required to do the research to find the answer you're looking for. But a chat box is different. It's more like a teammate. You don't just ask it once and walk away. You talk, you clarify, you push back on what the answers it gives you. You give it examples. You refine your thinking. So it's a dialogue. It's not just a search. And for someone who has spent their careers working in teams solving problems collectively, that distinction matters. So once I stopped thinking as AI as a fancy search tool and started thinking of it as a teammate, everything changed. So once I understood that working with AI was a conversation, the next thing to understand is, okay, how do you communicate? So that's where you hear a term that's become popular. It's called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering simply means learning how to communicate effectively with an AI tool. That's it. In fact, there's an entire field of study because the quality you get from AI depends on the quality of the prompts you provide to AI. Here's an analogy that might make sense to you. You're working with a new teammate and you tell them, say, hey, figure this out. Well, you'll get a very vague answer. But if you say to them, here's what I want, here's the goal, here's the context of it, Here's the constraints, and here's what success looks like. You'll get a much clearer answer. And that's what working with AI is like. So the clearer you are about what you want, why you want it, who you want it for, how do you want the answer, the better AI will be able to provide you with that answer. I mean, when I first started using AI, as I was doing those very short prompts, give me location of this, and they were unfocused. And so, the answers I was getting back were kind of unimpressive. But as I learned to provide it more, my intents clearer, the power of the AI tools greatly increased. And the one thing about this is that you don't need to learn any coding. You just need to learn how to communicate. And that's the good news for us retirees, because communication, clarity, and context are skills that we've been working with our whole careers. Another surprise to me that AI isn't limited to just writing or answering questions. You can use it for a multitude of different things. You can create images, you can create videos, illustrations, graphics, uh, music, presentations. You can actually have it create a whole application for you. You just describe it in an image in plain text language, and it'll provide one for you. You you describe a concept you want for a video, and it will develop it for you. You ask it, hey, I want an application that does this, and AI will build it for you. So let me give you a very basic example I had while playing around with AI. So when I was looking around, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to do different things with AI, and I come across image programs that you could do adjust images. So one of the tools I've been using is Google Gemini. It's an AI chatbot. I'll talk about that in a little later in a comparison of others. But one of the things you can do is have it create images for you. So what I did is up here I have my avatar for my YouTube site, and I just said, hey, make it into a Pixar style character and kind of give it some other things, to clarify it. And this is the image it created. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So let's take it one step further. I said, take it and place it on the bridge of a US submarine. And this is what it came up with. Not exactly the bridge of a submarine. Looks like kind of like a control room, but it's still kind of a cool picture. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of neat. I can create pictures. I can do different things. But then I took it one step further and I took it into another program called Grok. And Grok can also do video generation, very short clips. You can add them and build them up. But I said, hey, just have this image say something. And this was what it came up with.
Just imagine what you can do with AI.
I thought, that's kind of cool. And I thought of different uses. Again, this is very simple. This is just kind of novelty type things. But I thought, hey, maybe I can make videos for my grandchildren of putting them in different things, putting in fantasy type scenarios, and make videos for them. So that's kind of one area I'm looking at. But again, AI isn't just a novelty. There's so much more productive stuff. And what is proven here is you're only limited by your own imagination. Now, once you start using AI, as I've talked about, there's tens of thousands of different tools. And each one has its strengths and its weaknesses. And for larger companies or businesses or marketing campaigns, each of those strengths becomes very important. But here's a key point. For us as retiree, just at this point working on personal goals, they don't matter as much. I mean, if we're just using it for learning, for writing, for creating or just problem solving, any of these chatbots will be sufficient for what you need. So you need to look at some other factors that come into it. First, obviously, is the cost. And all these tools have different plans and a cost per month for them, but a lot of them have a free version, which is limited, but for your initial use, when you're trying to get used to the program you want, that is very helpful. A second factor is the ease of integration. How easy is it to use? I mean, if it's difficult to use, it's not going to make learning AI that much fun. And the last is the integration with the tools that you already use. And I'll talk about that in a minute here. But as an example, let's talk about some AI, some of the bigger name AI chatbots, and kind of a comparison of how they work together. So again, I'm in this Google Gemini that I talked about before, and I asked it to run a comparison for me, which you can do for any products you want. But in this case, I'm looking at some of the top chat boxes. ChatGPT, you've probably heard about that. That's the first one that came into existence about some 5 years ago. Google Gemini is another a big name that is rivaling ChatGPT. Perplexity is one that can be used, and the last one I have here is Grok, which is one put out by Elon Musk's X and Twitter. That's another, has some useful purposes. But I just asked it to do a comparison, features and cost and everything. So if you look at this table, you know, each has a strength. ChatGPT is the general reasoning. The Google is integrated with your Google Workspace, so that integration factor that I talked about at the end, if you're using, Gmail and Google Drive and all those, Gemini integrates well with that. Perplexity is another one which is very famous for doing research. A much better job if you're just doing research. And then Grok, as I said, it's integrated with X and Twitter, so you can get a lot more updates from there using that one. But and you'll see the different models they use, and these things change weekly. GPT 4.0, Gemini 1.5, they're constantly coming up with new models all the time. So that's another reason to get to learning AI, because it's always changing, always improving. You have some things about web search. Multimodal is meaning can it do other things than just text? ChatGPT is voice, images and other things. Same with Gemini. Perplexity again is mainly just for research, and Grok has also a lot of image and video capabilities. The pricing here is another thing I talked about. You have pricing plans for each of them, around $20 a month, and you get a certain amount of capabilities with these. And you can go through this. You can go into Gemini and do the same search, and it'll come up with more detailed strengths and weaknesses on each of these. And as you see here, a lot of them have a free limited plan with them. So here it gave a summary, of which ones to use. If you're just looking for a general purpose one, ChatGPT works well. Perplexity if you're doing research. Gemini, Google Gemini if you integrate it with your Google apps, and Grok if you're a heavy Twitter user. So going back to the price plans, I'll pull the one up for ChatGPT, and this is their price plans. And again, this is the one that it listed here, which was $20. But it has a free plan, again, very limited. You can get exclamation, you can do videos and other image generation things. So you can do all the basic stuff. And I've used it for a little bit, and for the amount I'm using right now, only a couple of times have I actually reached the limits where it says I couldn't do anything. But at least this gives you an idea. You can, try these different chat box um, to see which one is the best to use. So uh, again, a good place to start. And these are just basic chatbots. As I said, there's so many other AI tools depending on what you want to do. If you want to focus on image generation, if you want to get into music development, you could do that, or voice synthesizers, anything like that. There's AI tools for it. And so you look for ones that kind of give you the free ability to test drive them to see what you want. So now we get to how am I using AI right now, just to give you some examples. And again, as I've talked about, you can use it for writing. You can use it for things like creating an email response. You get an email from some business or something, and you want to reply back. You can ask it for recommendations for you, or you can use it for things like I've been using for in this YouTube. I'm trying to think of topics to talk about and think of a script. So, for example, here I am in Chat GPT, and I gave it a prompt saying, I want my next video of what I wanted to do. I give it some basic notes and ideas, and here it gives me recommended titles, and then it starts building a script for me, which uh, is very interesting to help me out because, again, I'm an engineer, not a good writer or speaker. So this helps me out to some extent, and that's just one use. Uh, uh, Another one I did was did this recently. So this summer, looking to do a road trip out west. So I gave it a basic prompt, and we'll go through this here. It's a basic road trip in June. Gave it the where I'm starting from, Omaha. I live in the Omaha area. Give it directions of where I'm going, what places I want to stop, Zion, Grand Canyon, Yosemite, Crater Lake, and then some other refinements like I don't want to be traveling more than 500 miles a day, and at each of these places I want to spend at least a day exploring. So I asked it to give me a day-to-day itinerary, and it starts creating. And so after a few minutes, here's what it's given me as a response. A day-to-day itinerary. Here's the plan. Total of 16 days, how many miles it'll be, the key stops. And then it provides day-to-day with how many miles to travel that day, talked about the drive, some possible stops along the way, and where to stay along there. And it has for each of the days along there. Again, um, some notes, and some things that you may want to do when you get to these locations. So it gave me uh, the itinerary, and it gave me some other things to think about if I'm planning for June, to make reservations, make them early. Uh, and then you can then it comes back and asks if I want help finding campgrounds or hotels to list in. So I can say, I am a Hilton Honors member. Give me recommendations for hotels at each stop. Okay, let's start giving me recommendations for hotels. And give you some information about the different hotels you use, with actual photos and prices for each of the hotels. So, okay, let's go one step further. So make me a Google map of the entire trip. And so there you go. It went and generated a map. You can zoom in on the different areas it talks about to give you an idea of, where you want to go. And so just think about how long you would have spent researching to do this kind of road trip and how powerful it is to have a teammate that can help you along the way. One of the other things I want to point out as I'm sitting here on Gemini is if you look at the bottom, I've reached my thinking limit for thinking models. So again, talking about this was all based on the free version. This is what you can do for one day, and so now I can't do any more today until tomorrow. So just to give you an idea how much you can use just with a free model. Before I wrap up, I want to talk about something important. AI can sometimes be intimidating, even threatening. So I wanted to talk about, let's separate some myth from reality. Myth number one, AI will replace all of us. Now, you can go online to YouTube and find lots of videos that doomsday videos talking about how AI will replace us all by 2030 or whatever. But really what AI is doing is replacing tasks, not experience. So our experience, our humanness is still an important thing, but we still need to understand AI to gain an advantage. Those who try to ignore it or pretend that it's not there are going to lose confidence and relevance. Myth number two, AI is difficult to learn. Well, as I've shown you here, it's just communicating. All you need to do is to be able to talk with the AI tools to get the job done. It's no harder than that. Myth number three, AI is just a fancy version of Google. The reality is that Google gives you information, but AI helps you to think with this information. Now let's also talk about another growing reality. AI is also being used to enhance threats. They're becoming more convincing scams, deep fake voices and videos, fake documents and images, auto phishing scams. And the truth is the retirees are often the ones who target it. That's exactly why the AI literacy matters, why it's so important for us to understand AI and be able to use it so you can understand when it's being misused. Throughout my career, we didn't eliminate risk, we managed it. And AI is no different. Learning AI is a form of risk mitigation. One of the best ways to protect yourself from AI-enabled threats is to use AI yourself. Ask AI, ask a chatbot to analyze suspicious message or help you verify claims or to provide you more information of what you're seeing. AI can be an important part of your safety toolkit. So for me, learning AI isn't chasing the future. It's about understanding the present. It's about having tools that help me learn, create, and protect myself in a changing world, even in retirement. And just like every challenge I've taken so far, this one starts with a curiosity and a willingness to learn. So I'm Rick, and this is part of my journey to rediscover purpose after 41 years of service. So if you found this video useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and maybe pass it on to someone else um, who's looking for a new challenge in retirement. And remember, you're not done, you're just being redeployed.